The war-torn planet of Kralis lay under a pale red sky, its jagged mountains slicing sharply against the horizon. Smoke curled from distant battlefields where unknown alien factions had fought for centuries. In this harsh land lived the Apex, the galaxy's most feared warriors. They were tall, strong, and unmatched in combat. Their eyes glimmered with pride, their bodies honed to perfection and their minds sharpened by constant training. No one dared to challenge them, and none survived long if they tried. Humans, by comparison, were fragile. Their bodies were smaller, their muscles weaker. Most aliens laughed at them. Yet humans had arrived on Kralis, and they were about to change the Apex's view forever. Captain Eli Mercer, leader of the human delegation, stepped off the small shuttle onto the rocky ground. His uniform was simple, clean, and far less armored than the Apex's battlesuits. The wind whipped his dark hair, and his eyes scanned the massive warriors standing before him. They towered over him like giants, each carrying weapons that looked like they could tear a mountain apart. "You call these humans?" One of the Apex snorted, bending down slightly to get a better look at Eli. His voice was rough, like gravel scraping across metal. "They look like children lost in the mountains." Eli did not flinch. He straightened his back and raised his chin. "We are here to help," he said calmly, his voice steady. "Not to fight unless we must." Another Apex warrior stepped forward. His name was Rathok, known among the Apex for his cruel humor. He circled Eli like a predator. "Help? You? Ha! You cannot even carry a proper weapon, and you speak as if you are our equals." Laughter erupted among the Apex warriors. They slapped their armored thighs and roared, shaking the ground beneath Eli's feet. The humans standing behind him exchanged nervous glances. Most of them were skilled, yes, but in sheer physical strength and intimidation, they were no match for the Apex. But Eli's eyes remained calm. He did not respond with anger. He only nodded. "I do not mind your doubt. It is expected." Rathok paused, studying him. No human had ever responded with such calm. Usually they begged or ran, or their fear made them weak. But this one stood as if he belonged among giants. The laughter faded slightly, replaced by a low murmur of curiosity. Then, without warning, a loud alarm rang across the Apex camp. Red lights flashed, and the ground trembled. From the cliffs above, a hostile alien squad descended. Creatures with jagged exoskeletons and glowing claws, faster than any normal warrior. They attacked without mercy, charging straight into the Apex formation. The warriors raised their weapons instantly. Their speed and strength were terrifying. Yet Eli did not hesitate. He motioned for his team. "Flank left. Distract the front. Trap the rear." The humans moved swiftly, not with raw power, but with careful strategy. They guided the Apex into better positions, avoiding unnecessary danger, predicting the enemy's movements before they struck. The aliens hesitated, surprised by the humans' unexpected coordination. Rathok growled, seeing Eli's plan in action. "They are helping?" he muttered under his breath. It was impossible. Humans were supposed to be weak, fragile, useless. Yet here, they were directing battle, saving lives, and striking precisely where needed. Eli's team pulled off a daring maneuver. One human soldier leaped onto a high ledge and rolled a boulder down onto the enemy's path, blocking their escape. Another threw a net that immobilized several attackers. Eli moved with calculated precision, deflecting attacks and directing Apex warriors where they were most needed. The Apex had never seen humans fight like this. Not with brute strength, but with brains, courage, and coordination. Slowly, their laughter turned into silence. Their mocking stares became thoughtful glances. Rathok, still in shock, stepped closer to Eli, his eyes narrowing. "You survive not because you are strong, but because you think?" he said, almost questioning himself. "Yes," Eli replied simply. "Strength alone cannot win every battle. Strategy, teamwork, and courage matter as much as raw power." The hostile aliens, sensing they were losing the advantage, began to retreat. The Apex warriors pursued them with ferocious speed, striking with perfect timing while humans like Eli continued to guide the fight. Within minutes, the battlefield fell silent. Smoke rose from the rocks, but the enemy had been driven away. The Apex warriors stood, breathing heavily. Their pride was shaken, their assumptions challenged. Humans, these fragile creatures they had mocked, had helped them win. And not only that, but they had done so without fear, without hesitation, without need of awe-inspiring strength. For a moment, silence hung in the air. Then Rathok stepped forward, his voice low and cautious. You are different. Eli nodded, keeping his calm expression. We are all warriors in our own way, he said. The other Apex warriors looked at him, confused and uneasy. Their mocking laughter had vanished. Some muttered among themselves, questioning their own judgments. None of them had ever been challenged like this. Not by a human, not in their history. Varkun, the leader of the Apex, appeared at the edge of the battlefield. His armor gleamed under the pale red sky. His eyes were sharp, assessing, and he approached Eli slowly. The humans straightened as he came closer. Rathok stepped aside, giving way to the giant figure. You lead them well, Varkun said finally, his voice deep and commanding. Humans are weak. You are strong, or perhaps stronger than we believed. Eli inclined his head respectfully. Strength is not always what it seems. Courage can take many forms. Varkun studied him for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, he extended his hand. If you survive tomorrow's trial, you may stand among the Apex as a brother. The humans gasped. A trial meant life or death, reserved only for the mightiest warriors. Even for the strongest Apex, it was terrifying, yet Eli nodded calmly. We will face it, he said, together as one team. For the first time, the Apex warriors saw something in humans they had never seen before. Unshakable courage, calm under pressure, and the ability to inspire respect, not through fear, but through deeds. As the red sun dipped behind the jagged mountains, Eli looked at the Apex warriors and smiled faintly. The laughter of doubt had vanished. Tomorrow they would see that humans were not just fragile creatures. They were something more. Something worth standing beside, and somewhere deep in the hearts of the Apex a seed of respect began to grow. The morning sun rose pale and sharp over the jagged cliffs of Kralis, casting long shadows across the Apex training grounds. The arena was immense, a natural pit surrounded by sheer rock walls, jagged peaks, and deep ravines. Only the strongest warriors had ever completed its trials, and many had failed, never to return. Today it would test Eli Mercer, the human who had already earned whispers of surprise among the Apex. Eli stepped onto the rocky ground, his boots crunching over stone. His eyes swept over the arena. The air smelled of dust, heat, and tension. Around him, the Apex warriors watched silently. Their armor gleamed in the morning light, muscles tensed, eyes sharp. Among them, Varkun, the Apex leader, observed with keen interest. Humans do not belong here, Rathok muttered under his breath, though his voice was quieter now, lacking the mocking tone of yesterday. Eli ignored him, focusing instead on the path ahead. Strength is not only measured by muscle, he whispered to his team who had followed him. Strategy and courage count just as much. The first trial began immediately. A massive boulder was suspended by chains above the arena, set to drop if a warrior made a wrong move. The ground beneath was uneven, filled with narrow ledges and deep cracks. Warriors had to cross it while avoiding traps, reaching the far side to signal the start of the next challenge. Eli moved carefully, using his balance and agility rather than brute force. The Apex watched in disbelief as he leaped across gaps they thought impossible for a human. A boulder swung dangerously near him, but he ducked at the right moment, letting it crash harmlessly to the ground. Impossible, one Apex warrior muttered, shaking his head. He moves like one of us. Next came combat training. Holographic enemies appeared, swift, vicious, and unpredictable. The human warriors had basic training, yes, but nothing compared to the Apex's centuries of experience. Yet Eli adapted quickly. He noticed the hologram's attack patterns, predicted their moves, and instructed his team to strike together, exploiting openings the Apex might have ignored. Rathok frowned. He anticipates better than some of us, he admitted quietly. Then came the hardest part, the trial of survival. Eli had to navigate a deep ravine where traps, falling rocks, and sudden chasms awaited. Alone, he faced a collapsing bridge. He paused, evaluating it, then used a rope to swing safely across. An Apex warrior who had attempted the same barely made it and looked shaken. You survived. Using thinking, not strength, Varkun said, impressed. It is not weakness to think carefully, human. It is a gift, Eli only nodded. I survive because I pay attention, and because I work with others, not against them. The final test was the most dangerous, a simulated battle against the fiercest Apex warriors. They attacked with speed and precision, each strike capable of ending a participant instantly in the simulation. Eli moved calmly, guiding his team and defending himself. His tactics combined human creativity with courage, and he even saved an apex warrior from being struck in the simulation by using a clever feint. For the first time, the apex realized that humans were not weak. They were different. Where the apex relied on raw power, humans relied on adaptability, quick thinking, and courage. And in battle, that could be just as deadly. When the trial ended, Eli and his team stood unscathed. The apex warriors were silent. Even Rathok, who had mocked him only a day before, could not find words. Varkan approached slowly. His massive form towered over Eli, but there was no menace in his eyes, only respect. "You have done more than survive," he said. "You have proven that a human can be more than strength alone. You have shown wisdom, courage, and loyalty." Eli bowed slightly. "I only did what was needed. I do not seek praise, only to protect and serve." Varkun's hand extended. It was enormous, armored yet steady. "Then I welcome you as my brother, human. From this day, you are one of the apex. Your courage and mind are as valued as strength." The arena was silent. The other warriors, who had doubted and laughed at humans, stared in shock. No human had ever been granted such honor. They exchanged uncertain glances, some still finding it hard to believe. But the truth was clear. Eli had earned respect through deeds, not words. Rathok finally stepped forward, his face unreadable. "Brother," he said, testing the word. It felt strange on his tongue. He had expected mockery, not reverence. Slowly he bowed to Eli. "I respect you." Others followed one by one. The arena, once filled with laughter at the human's expense, now resonated with acceptance. The human had not only survived, but had also changed the hearts of the strongest warriors in the galaxy. Eli's team gathered around him, smiling quietly. They had always known humans had potential, but to see it recognized by the apex was extraordinary. Varkan turned toward the training ground. "Tomorrow we face the real enemy again," he said, referring to the hostile faction that had attacked their camp. "Now you stand with us, human, as a brother. Together we will fight, and together we will prevail." Eli nodded. "I will stand with you. Not because of power, but because of trust and unity." The apex warriors had learned something new that day. Strength alone was not the measure of a warrior. Courage, intelligence, and the willingness to act when others hesitated could surpass muscle and speed. As the sun set behind the jagged peaks, casting long shadows across the arena, Eli looked at the apex warriors. He knew the real challenge was yet to come. The battlefield awaited, and the hostile aliens would not wait for anyone. But for the first time, he did not feel fear. He had earned their respect. He had proven that humans could stand as equals even among legends, and in that moment the seed of brotherhood had grown strong. The human was no longer an outsider, laughed at and underestimated. He was one of them now, a warrior, a brother, and a symbol that courage and ingenuity could shine brighter than raw strength alone. The apex warriors, once proud and unyielding, had learned humility and awe, and the galaxy would soon witness that humans were not merely survivors. They were pioneers, strategists, and heroes in their own right. The sky over Kralis was dark and tense, the red sun long gone behind jagged cliffs. The battlefield stretched wide, littered with jagged rocks and craters from past conflicts. The hostile alien faction that had attacked the apex camp before had returned, larger and fiercer than anyone expected. Their glowing claws and jagged exoskeletons shimmered in the dim light, and their screams filled the air like metal tearing through metal. The apex warriors stood ready, their muscles tensed, eyes sharp, and weapons gleaming. At their center, Captain Eli Mercer stood calm and steady, now fully recognized as a brother of the apex. His humans flanked him, prepared and alert. No one doubted their courage now, not even the apex who had once laughed at them. Varkan, the apex leader, stepped forward. "Today the galaxy will see what we can achieve when strength and courage unite," he said, his voice echoing across the battlefield. "And today human courage will shine alongside our own." Eli nodded. "We must fight smart, not just hard," he said. "Observe, adapt, and strike together." The hostile aliens surged forward like a wave, their claws glowing ominously. They were fast, vicious, and relentless, but the apex and humans moved as one. Eli directed his team with precision. "Left flank. Push forward. Trap the rear." The humans and Apex fought together in perfect sync. The Apex struck with raw power, cutting down foes with unmatched skill, while the humans used agility and clever tactics to outmaneuver the enemy. One human soldier rolled a boulder down a cliff to block a narrow pass, halting dozens of attackers. Another set a trap using ropes and nets, ensnaring alien warriors who thought they were faster than anyone. Eli moved through the chaos with calm focus. He dodged attacks, guided warriors, and spotted weaknesses the Apex had missed. His tactics were unexpected yet brilliant. They used the humans' adaptability and the Apex's strength together, creating a force the hostile faction could not predict. Rathok, once skeptical and mocking, fought beside Eli now. He marveled at the humans' composure. "He is not just a warrior. He is a strategist," Rathok muttered, almost in awe. As the battle raged, Eli noticed the enemy had a leader, an enormous alien bristling with spikes, moving faster than the others, striking fear into anyone who faced him. He turned to Varkun. "Their leader is dangerous. If we take him down, the rest will fall into chaos. We need a plan." Varkun nodded. "Lead the strike, human. Show us your strategy." Eli studied the terrain quickly. "We split into two groups. One distracts him while the other attacks from the rear. Timing is everything. Trust your instincts and follow my signal." The plan was risky, but the warriors trusted Eli. The humans moved swiftly, drawing the alien leader's attention. The Apex waited silently, poised to strike. At the exact moment Eli signaled with a whistle, the Apex surged from their hiding positions, weapons flashing while humans flanked from behind. The alien leader roared in surprise, taken off guard by the coordinated attack. It struck back, but the humans anticipated every move. Eli leaped into action, using speed and clever maneuvering to dodge the deadly claws. He directed a human soldier to pull a heavy chain, tripping the alien and leaving it vulnerable. Varkun moved in with immense force, striking precisely where Eli had predicted. The alien leader staggered, then fell to the ground with a deafening crash. The remaining hostile aliens hesitated, unsure what to do without their leader. Seizing the opportunity, the Apex and humans pressed forward, striking in perfect coordination. The aliens were overwhelmed, retreating across the battlefield. Within minutes, the danger was gone. Smoke and dust rose from the rocks, but the alliance of humans and Apex stood victorious. Silence fell over the battlefield. The once hostile terrain now bore witness to an unusual sight. Humans standing tall among the galaxy's fiercest warriors. Unshaken, unbroken, and victorious. The Apex warriors looked at Eli, all clear in their eyes. Rathok stepped forward, a rare smile on his face. "I laughed at you once," he said. "I was wrong. You are more than I ever imagined a human could be." Eli shook his head slightly. "I am only part of the team. Without all of you, none of this would be possible. We fight together. We survive together." Varkun approached, placing a massive hand on Eli's shoulder. "You have done more than survive. You have proven that humans can stand with the strongest warriors in the galaxy. Today you are not only a brother of the Apex, you are a hero." The other Apex warriors bowed their heads in respect. For the first time in history, humans were not mocked, not doubted, and not underestimated. They had earned their place, and the galaxy had seen it. Eli looked around at the battlefield, the smoke and the warriors he now called brothers. He smiled faintly, knowing that humans had not only survived, they had shined. They had turned skepticism into respect, doubt into admiration, and weakness into a symbol of courage. As the red stars of Kralis twinkled in the sky, the humans and Apex gathered together. They had faced death, danger, and ridicule, but they had emerged victorious. Eli's calm courage, quick thinking, and leadership had changed the hearts of the galaxy's fiercest warriors. Varkun spoke to the assembled warriors. "Let it be known, today, humans are no longer outsiders. They are our brothers, our equals, and our allies, and together we will face whatever comes next." Eli nodded. "We will stand together, and we will always protect one another." The once laughing Apex warriors now looked at humans with new eyes. Where there had been mockery, there was respect. Where there had been doubt, there was admiration. And the humans, once underestimated, had become a symbol of courage, ingenuity, and the power of unity. From that day forward, the story of Eli Mercer and his human team spread across the stars. The galaxy learned a vital lesson. Underestimation could be fatal. Courage could come in any form. and even the smallest or seemingly weakest could rise to legendary heights. And the apex warriors, proud and strong as they were, had learned something even more important. Strength alone does not make a warrior. Brotherhood, trust, courage, and cleverness can turn the tide of war, and sometimes the most unlikely warrior can inspire the universe. The laughter was gone. The respect remained, and humanity had claimed its place among the stars.